Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
I had a bunch of people send me this story because it is from Michigan, and I am in Michigan, of course, and I'm licensed to practice law here. And I remember this program when they announced that they were going to start this. I actually had my questions about it, but Michigan is ending its agreement with the digital license plate company. Current customers will not be allowed to renew their plates if they've got those digital license plates. So a couple of years ago, Michigan announced and said, hey, we've struck a deal. There's a company that provides digital license plates, and you can buy the digital license plate from this company, and we approve this, and put it on your car, and it will display the information that we give you. So it's the state and you working with this other company. And at the time, my first thought was, boy, that sounds expensive, because wait till you hear how expensive it is. But second of all, I'm just a little concerned about the technology, but we'll get there. ClickOnDetroit.com ran this version of the story. Kayla Clark wrote it. Click on Detroit's the internet presence of Channel 4 WDIV out of Detroit. Michigan, the state, says it will end its agreement with a company that has been selling digital license plates to drivers for the last 2 years. 2 years. The company will have to stop selling the plates to Michigan drivers, and anyone with a current plate from the company will need to stop using it after the registration expires. You have to go back to the old analog plates, those pieces of metal on your car that have numbers on them. In 2022, Michigan became the third state to allow road use of digital license plates. On June 6th of that year, the Secretary of State of Michigan entered into an agreement with a company called Reviver. Earlier this month, the Secretary of State issued a letter to that company and drivers who had purchased digital plates saying that the state will no longer be working with that company. The state's agreement actually expired in December of last year, but both Michigan and Reviver had continued working under the terms they originally agreed to. So that'll occasionally happen. The parties have a contract. The contract expires, but both parties want to keep going. They just need to enter a new contract. So they go, well, we're going to enter a new contract. Let's just keep working under the old contract until we work out the new contract. There's nothing strange about that. But what happened here was the state now says that Reviver failed to comply with the terms of the original contract. The state sent a letter to customers letting them know the agreement would be terminated effective August 10th of this year. That's not that long off. A notice to terminate sent to Reviver on July 11th listed contractual obligations that the state said the company failed to meet. So according to the agreement, only standard issued plates were eligible to be digitized. Any new graphics would need to be approved by the state before they were used. So the plates had to be relatively simple. And apparently they could add graphics, and the state said, we can do that, but we have to approve that first. The state says that Reviver developed and used plates outside of the 3 approved standard plate types, which was, of course, making that contrary to the contract. The unauthorized plates were not approved by the state before they were issued. That's what the state says. The state said in a letter that they sent to Reviver, but it's been made public, in fact, they were not even presented to the Michigan Department of State for review, possibly because they were such a clear violation of the state law and the memorandum of agreement. So they're saying that they weren't even submitted for review, and that would be a problem. The state says that Reviver failed to check the registration status of customers before issuing digital plates. So obviously, if you contact the state, give them information, and they give you a plate, they've reviewed your information. But if you contact a third party and get a plate from them, theoretically, that third party would have to contact the state to make sure that this is all on the up and up. And the state is claiming that the company didn't do that. That's what their allegation is. So the company is required to check the registration status of a customer before putting a Michigan registration on a digital plate. So the company was given direct access to check Michigan-based customers against the state's internal system. And you have to imagine how unusual that is, because most states don't like letting third parties have just access to their stuff. And so they actually apparently gave this company access and said, but you've got to check. When somebody comes to you and says, I want a plate because I've got a plate with Michigan, you got to check with us to make sure it's true. And so the state said it had been trying to work with the company since April of last year to get the company to comply. The state said in a letter back in March, we have no record of registration inquiries made by your company as required by Clause 4. Clause 4. That is not the fourth movie in a Santa Claus series. That is, in fact, the fourth clause, Roman numeral, of a contract. Even though efforts were made, the company did not fully comply with the agreement. The state said that 78 non-dealership sales were reported by Reviver from January to April of this year, and the department could only verify that 56 were reviewed by the company before they were sold, which makes you wonder how the other 22 got through. Local 4, WDIV, reached out to Reviver. It's not yet heard back. But after August 10th of this year, the company will not be allowed to sell digital license plates to Michigan customers or allow current customers to renew their digital plates. Anyone who is a current customer and purchased a digital license plate before August 10th will be allowed to keep using the plate until their registration expires, and at that point, presumably, they got to go back to the old analog plate. If you still have your original license plate, you can replace the digital one with that when your registration expires. If you do not have the original plate, you can get a brand new one from the Secretary of State that will cost you $5. $5. Additional fees might apply depending on the type of plate, whether it's personalized or has a recreation passport. I've got both of those. I've got personalized plates and I've got recreation passports. And what that means is you get a little thing that's on your license plate, and there's a little indication that you've paid this extra fee, and the extra fee gets you into state parks around the state of Michigan. If the state finds a digital license plate vendor before the expiration of the current registration, you can purchase a digital license plate through that vendor if they find one. In 2022, when Local 4 first reported that Reviver was selling digital license plates in Michigan, the plates cost between $861 and $1,100. Between $860 and $1,100 for the digital plate. That's what they cost 2 years ago. As of July of this year, Reviver had a battery-operated digital license plate listed on its website and for sale to Michigan drivers for $699 or a subscription of $39.95 a month. Yes, you can get a subscription for your license plate. So we talked before about subscriptions for your heated seats, subscriptions for other things, and now we've entered the arena with digital license plates. And here's the thing. Don't get me wrong. You can spend your money any way you want to spend your money. Okay? You can. But I do feel the urge to comment on this because I've only seen one or two of these plates in the wild. They don't look that cool. If it was something that looked so cool that to me I'd go, yeah, I'd spend $860 on that to have that on my car, I would do it. But the ones I saw, I'm like, oh, it's a digital plate. Okay. It wasn't $861 of cool, nor was it $39.95 a month of cool. So the price seemed quite high to me. Now, of course, people are going to say, but Steve, perhaps this is the wave of the future. And somewhere down the road, we'll all have digital license plates, the same way we'll all have jetpacks. That very well could be the case. It very well could be the case. But no one has yet made the argument to me that I believed made sense as to why they're necessary. Because once in a while, the analog solution is the best. And so don't get me wrong, I've seen somebody who lives out in the country on a gravel road where their license plate has been sandblasted clean and you can't read anything on it because it's been hit by so many rocks and stuff over the years. And I understand that, that's an example where a license plate is having a difficult time doing its job. But then again, I don't know that a digital plate's going to survive that any better. And so really, I've got license plates on vehicles that I've had for years and years and years and years and years. And all you do is you put a new sticker on it, and the plate is just fine. Plate's just fine. And by the way, I kind of like the idea that when I pull the plate off my car, I can stick it on my wall. Now, it's not always the case, but I do have two plates that pop up behind me from time to time that actually are duplicates of plates on my car right now. And so I've got two personalized plates. And when I ordered them, they go, do you want one plate or two? Michigan only requires the one plate in the back, but you can order two, and you get the second one to put on your wall behind you as you shoot videos. So it works out. But the big problem I always had was looking at the price going, $1,100, really? Really? And the fact that they only had the variety of 3 different designs. Michigan is one of the many states where there are so many designs to choose from, everything from different causes to what school you went to. And by the way, they've got plates available for even the smallest of schools. You'd be surprised. So the personalization available on the analog plates is way more than what you got in the digital plates. But again, if you're really into the latest, greatest thing, I guess, there you go. But of course, someday you're going to be driving down the road, cops going to pull you over and go, do you know why I pulled you over? I have no idea, sir. Well, your license plate isn't illuminating. Not that your license plate light is out, it's that the battery died in your digital license plate. Now, I believe there was a way to hardwire this into your car, and that's, in my opinion, asking for trouble. I know people right now with Steve, come on. Really? You think hardwiring a license plate into your car's electrical system is a problem of some sort? Yes, I do. Only because as an attorney handling lemon law claims for 33 years, you'd be surprised at the excuses I've seen people hang their hats on as to why they won't do warranty work on your car. They're going to say, oh, your car's got electrical trouble, and you've got that digital plate that somebody hacked into your system to install? So I'm not saying it's an assured thing that would happen, but it wouldn't surprise me if it did. So there you go. Michigan ending its agreement with a digital license plate company. I read someplace in another version of the story that the license plate company is confident that if they come back to Michigan and send reps here to talk to the people in Lansing, that they can get it straightened out. If that happens, good. But otherwise, what's going to happen is that the agreement terminates August 10th. If you got one of these plates, you got to figure something else out. So there you go. Kayla Clark wrote that for clickondetroit.com. I don't often explain my shirts, but some of you are now wondering why my shirt says rutabaga. I'm going to stand up and turn around, and that will be the image in the end screen. But this is a shirt from a business called Lehto's Pasties in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and they make pasties. Pasties are little meat pies. They're wonderful. If you ever have a chance, stop in and get one. But Lehto's Pasties sells shirts, and one of the shirts is about the debate about whether or not rutabaga is the key ingredient in a pasty or not. It's a raging debate, although it's not as big of a debate as to whether or not you should put ketchup or gravy on your pasty. And just so you know, I'm an independent. I believe in putting butter on them, neither ketchup nor gravy. Another story altogether. Questions or comments, put them below those. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. I know you believe you understand what you think I said, but I'm not sure you realize that what you heard is not what I meant.